Angela Guthrie, 530 Clinton Court. I started this journey with you a few months ago when I joined forces with a group of concerned parents in a private, recorded meeting with the goal to better understand why you were considering teaching CRT to our children. I learned a lot in that meeting. I think parents here would be interested to know your true agenda. And since it's now clear to me that you're not going to tell them, I'm here to shed some light. In that meeting, you stated the Diversity Committee was different than the 5-year Strategic Planning Committee, that you would list the members of that Diversity Committee on the Findlay City Schools website, and that the committee members had met multiple times. You also agreed that you would consider making the diversity meetings open to parents. We even suggested live stream, Zoom, or even in person. You had no training materials or resources to show us. Yet at the last school board meeting, a staff member stood up and spoke about that same diversity training for all teachers and staff and mentioned it had already been completed. I'd like a copy of what that training looked like, please, and I think they might want one too. Not only has there been no follow-through on the above, imagine my surprise when we received an email back stating that the Diversity Committee, the one you spoke so highly of, Troy, the one that had already met more than once, was still being finalized. You were also denying us access to those meetings and instead stated you yourself would be giving us recaps at the monthly school board meetings. If the selection of those committee members were truly diverse and there is not a CRT agenda, then I would think you would want transparency. Unfortunately, everything about this so far has been the opposite of transparent. I look forward to the transparency of the Leader in Me mission statements. I know, CRT does not exist in the Findlay City Schools curriculum, but you failed to tell these parents that it does in fact exist in the 5-year strategic plan that you've already received funding for. You removed your resources from your website and let it slip that it would be implemented in the 8th step of Stephen R. Covey's Leader in Me, effectiveness to greatness, which you will call finding your voice and inspiring others to do the same. EducationalPost.org recently posted a pro-CRT article titled Explained, the truth about critical race theory and how it shows up in your child's classroom. This article goes on to explain that CRT aspires to empower voices that have been marginalized, embracing the lived experiences of people of color through research and storytelling placed in historical, political, and social context. Does this sound familiar? It should. Also, by your own admission, you're following the Ohio Department of Education strategic plan. I would encourage all parents here today to go to www.education.ohio.gov and download that strategic plan for yourself. In the first few slides, you will recognize their landscape for dividing people. You will learn how to define equity and recognize this as their top priority. I know last year the levy in Findlay City Schools didn't pass, but I can tell you ever since, as a parent, walking into their classrooms this year, the culture sure has changed. And I can't help but wonder if it's the same in your child's Trojan classroom. It's almost as if we strategically place teachers based off their beliefs this year. And I'm sure that this is just a coincidence that strategy number 1 of Ohio's strategic plan is to not only attract, prepare, recruit, hire, and develop, but retain only teachers that will implement this plan. Did you divide and conquer when you restructured our schools? I'm sure this is not the case, but we're begging. Prove us wrong. Your lack of transparency is telling. And I'm here today not to speak to the board, although I really do appreciate your time. I'm here to speak to the parents, the grandparents, and the community members. I'm here to encourage you to find your voice, to get involved. Let's look in the mirror and hold ourselves accountable for not being more involved in the past. Today's the day we change that together. Thank you.